Hey everybody, it's Coach Jan. I'm here with Autumn, and we are going to do some push hands training, fixed step with a timer. So we're going to do 2-minute rounds, and I'm going to talk through, these are going to be freestyle rounds, but we're going to do different types of freestyle rounds. And I'm going to talk through different strategies, etc. So this is going to be great. Of course, please like and subscribe. Please check out my Jan's Tai Chi Patreon if you want to support the channel. And yeah, this is gonna be lots of fun. We're always doing a lot of deep strategic push hands, and I'm really excited to talk through this. So it's gonna be great. So I'm setting the timer right now, and we're gonna just start out with left leg forward, and we're just gonna do a warm-up round. Warm-up round, just playing freestyle, and I'm keeping 70% of my weight forward. Autumn is pushing me off. She's already doing her best to lift me up. And you can keep on playing with me as dynamically as you want. I'll just talk through it. I'm very sore from doing burpees yesterday too. So notice that I'm playing with her. One of the things that I like playing with in push hands and Tai Chi is this concept of gentle reaching. This gentle reaching of my fingertips. I'll reach in the direction I want to go. So I'm not cutting with my elbow. I'm reaching down and my elbow follows my fingertips. So I noticed that I just reached with these fingers, inflated the tricep, inhaled, and kept my weight on the front leg, my left leg, to lift her up. So she's pushing me back. Now notice that I hold my arm here just to get a definition for me to be able to define where the weakness is in her arm. It's in her thumb. So I reach in to go against her thumb. That breaks the hold. Of course, I can be soft. I can be soft and soften out. But sometimes you need to actually create that pressure circuit that we've talked about in the past to be able to wall up. Oh, she's got me. There we go. To wall up. I'm pressing against her elbows. Boom. When I say pressing against her elbows, we always slap 5 in between rounds. That's part of the US Tai Chi push hands team concept. So I'm creating this little pressure circuit here, and that was the round. So just so you can see that last moment, I've talked about that on video as well, is that I'm reaching around, knowing that she's reaching this way. I'm reaching this way, there's going to be resistance. The resistance is not bad when you know how to direct the resistance. She's reaching this way, I'm reaching this way. That puts more pressure on her shoulder. So the more she reaches, I'm creating this structure. I'm not pushing against her anymore. Once I establish my shape, I keep it there, and then it puts pressure on her shoulder. And the second she feels that pressure, she wants to release it. And as she wants to release it, that's when I push her in that direction. All right, now we switch legs. We switch legs. We just switch legs, so right leg forward. And we're still doing essentially a warm-up round. That's a very fast warm-up round. That was me lifting on her armpit through her shoulder with the intention to lift the shoulder, the bone, over her hip into this space. Super important to lift someone's bone or part of their body where they can't put their weight. That causes them to fall into that hole. Arm drag and across. Now I like to go, notice that I'm starting out on the wrist. So I start out on the wrist, but it's a fake start, always. I'm giving you a way to beat me. So I always start out with a fake start on the wrist. So most people will start on the wrist and they'll start to grab. I never grab, I reach the fingers to create the sense of pressure without actually giving them the pressure. So a person believes there's more pressure than there actually is. So I just reach, I put my hand on the wrist. Autumn is being very mindful of it now, so she's not responding to it. Most people respond to it, like she was doing previously.
Listening to yourself.
Okay. And you have to be aware of the fine line between the faking and the reality of a particular book. Nice, I'm just dragging up. So the fine line between the faking and reality, like I'm creating some fake pressure, but that pressure will become real at some point. So I can't I can't invest myself to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, it's not real, and then it actually is real, and then I'm not in reality. So switch legs. So now we're going to play, we've never really done this before, I did this with Zoe this weekend. We're going to play with just our elbows. Just elbows. Okay, let's go. So we're aiming elbows, forearm area. Elbows and forearm area. So elbow and forearm. So we're being very, very conscious. Now we're taking away the ability to reach here. You can still reach here, but using even more emphasis on the waist now, that we're not leading with the fingers. So we're gonna change the circuit, the visualization circuit. She's pressed on my throat, which is not really legal in the push hands game, but is an amazing martial thing. That's never happened to me. She's pressed on my like Adam's elbows. Excellent. It's only happened to me in jiu-jitsu, not push hands. That was great. Oh. Excellent. So if you play Wu style push hands, very helpful for this kind of work that we're doing right now. Wu style, rolling the hips and the waist, connecting with the arms and elbows. Arms like blades. So I'm using the blade of my arm to control. You got it. Nice. We're supposed to be pushing with elbows, not hands.
I push with my elbow. You can rewind.
All right, I'll watch. I felt the back of a hand on my chest. That's all I'm saying. So notice the angles that I'm pressing her now. So I just went 1, 2, 3, 4. Super strategic. And this pretty much works a lot of the times when you're playing with a partner, an opponent. So you push them in one direction, and then maybe you do it twice in a row, but if not, whether it's 2 or 1, you pull them in the opposite direction. Then they're trying to get ready, prepare themselves for forward and back. Then you turn them on an angle. And then when now they have these 3 variables to think about, then you give them the first one again. It's a simple strategy to switch up legs, to control the weight distribution and the expectation of the partner.
You're pushing with your chest as well.
Yeah, I didn't say you can't push it. Yes. What we're doing our best to take away the extension and work with just the shorter range. And the plant is okay. Very nice. So really, I highly recommend when you really start to zone in on this stuff, the second, anytime you're playing push hands or anything, second, if you're playing for weight distribution, to control weight distribution, the second you make that contact, try to feel the opponent's entire body connected to that one point. And then try to roll that one point in the direction, like that you wanted to make the whole body step. That's the visualization and connection that you want to have. Good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to take away arms completely, and we're going to go for our hands behind the back. We're going to work with our chest. You guys have seen that in the past. And this camera angle, we're in the office today, so like, you know, you're not seeing a lot of leg work. That's because we're playing fixed step. So this is valuable. This camera angle allows us to do what we need to do, so you guys can see it. So the legs are not moving much. Like I said, 70% of the weight forward. We're going to keep our hands behind our back now, and we're going to play using shoulder, chest, belly, etc. Okay, let's go. And head, you can even use the head a bit as well. Very nice. Arms already setting up. When you're playing like this, notice you'll notice that before you even make contact, the position and feeling out the positioning is super important. Before you make contact. Before you make contact. Very nice. Remember, all of this is about building your sensitivity and your strength and your ability to redirect pressure. She's my cheek to move around. Nice. Great. You okay? You push her, she hurt her nose a little bit, pushing her nose onto my back. It's okay. Yeah, your nose is totally fine. Okay. 10 seconds. So notice in that one, she pushed me really, really hard, and I've been attempting to get myself to maintain my balance. This is one of the most challenging exercises, which is why I highly recommend it, is because you don't want to lift up a foot. So she just pushed me on that last push, and I took everything in my power to keep my weight on my back leg and keep my toe, my front foot touching, so I didn't technically, for the rules of push hands, give up my ground. Of course, this is very, very important martially as well, has many martial applications. So, okay, all right. Now we switch legs and we're doing the other side. So notice the difference in how I just played this round versus the last one. The amount of contact that she needs to feel comfortable is actually a great amount. So I'm keeping myself away. It's almost similar to doing head movement, bobbing and weaving in boxing. So before I'm even making contact, I don't want her to feel comfortable with contact. So now I'm doing my old strategy again, and she feels more comfortable to do those pushes. But it's hard to gauge if you don't have that contact. And she could follow me back too, like she was doing in the last round. She did that really well. Followed me back and got the push several times. And little touches, these little touches can be really helpful. Rolling, I'm making shoulder contact, and I'm not crashing my shoulder into hers. I'm dragging. I'm doing this gentle roll to move the shoulder off, to move her body off. Yeah. They have it. So we got several more rounds. We got that was 6 rounds. We got 6 more rounds. So yeah, really important. Really important. The hands behind the back. There's lots of different strategies you can play from here, but I do recommend doing your best to feel before you make contact. It's excellent, especially helpful for head movement in boxing. Okay, now we're gonna do one arm, but freestyle. Then we're gonna bring the arms back. So we're doing our best to take away weapons and then bring them back.
Okay. Oh gosh. Oh.
Okay, so what just happened here was a very gentle but intentional flip of the wrist. Notice that I have this chin up position. I got my thumb in her palm and my fingers on the other side, and I'm rolling her hand. I'm not doing that to create a lock. I'm doing that to create her desire to turn back. And then when she has that desire enough, I let go and I turn my elbow into her. So I do that a bunch with folks to get them to move. Again, all you're doing is setting up the reactions you want. And that's coming from this, my fake hold here. And when I say fake, to add to what I said earlier, that means that you should know that the dominant position is normally going to be hand on elbow. Pin the elbow, you can control the entire arm, you control the body. When you have the wrist, you can throw the elbow out, so you don't have that control. So wrist is normally not as superior as elbow, generally speaking, in terms of elbow control versus wrist control. Okay. Switch sides, right hand, right leg forward. That's not to say you can't do the backhand, which is very interesting as well. We don't normally do that. Maybe we'll do that. Right now we're doing front hand forward. Front hand, front leg. And we're going to start. So that push was only made possible by pushing through from her rib through her shoulder. That was very clear intention. She was doing such a great job at holding her ground. I'm like, I gotta get her off of me. So like if you're playing with somebody and they're really good at holding their space, you gotta make them move. You gotta make them have to readjust. Which means you have to start leveling up the techniques you're using. So notice that was a press on the center of her chest, on her sternum from my elbow, because she controlled the wrist, not as much as the elbow. So even when you have your hand on the wrist, you can still have the intention of controlling the position of the elbow just by having your attention on this, knowing that, hey, okay, I'm putting this elbow here. And so now she has to move either the hand or the elbow. She has to figure that out. So I do my best to make sure I can keep that elbow, even if I don't have direct hand contact on it or elbow contact, direct contact at all. I do my best to keep that elbow positioned in a place where I know I'm safe. Elbows are here on her floating rib level. Elbows past my face. Remember, if you're dealing with a Thai fighter, they're going to pop that elbow back. So it's just super important for you to know that that's a weapon at all times. You want to muffle that weapon as much as possible. Muffle. Sure. keep playing to the end of the next stuff. That's great. Very nice. A desperate attempt by Autumn to push me as she already stepped and pushed me.
Well, why step and you step at the same time?
Well, it wasn't the same time. It's okay. It's okay. It's great. Sometimes fighting dirty is the right thing. So there we go. Okay, so now we're going to, I want to try this backhand. We don't ever do that. So let's keep the same foot forward, left foot forward, but right hand. So we're going to keep the same hand that we're just playing with. So we're using our backhand, almost like we're playing with the cross rather than the jab. Okay. Nice. To be clear, we never play like this. So this is awesome. Okay. The pinky. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I always want to be learning when you do this stuff too. You had a really, I was concerned because you had like a dominant position for a second. Where you had my arm like this, and you could have just kept the pin here and rolled your arm down on mine. It's very interesting.
Like lock your arm? Or?
Just put pressure on my shoulder to make me give up my footing. This is interesting.
You're using the arm behind my back
Yes.
to push me off. That doesn't seem.
Well, but I used it. So it's what?
We wouldn't do that if on the other arm.
Oh,
With this arm behind the back,
You
we
could.
could do that.
that's because we're not thinking about it.
Okay.
Probably should think about it. Switch legs, right leg forward, left hand operating, other hand small of the back. Always know where that hand is. Do not play with your hand down here. You're doing one hand. That is a bad habit. Put it behind the back. You always want to know exactly where the other hand is. She went off, but she pulled me, so I don't get it. I don't get the point.
But the
Nice.
use this arm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wondering why I felt the 1-2. So if you're going to do something like that, think about using it to set up a combination, because you're blasting it here, but nothing happens. So like if you're going to do that, think about like getting me to turn and then sliding the hand over my chest. Let's go. Like that. So I just pressed here and I moved right to the center. So try that. Push. Yep, exactly. So notice that's a push, slide, push. And you're sliding you're creating surface area to put the palm on. So she pushes me here, creates this surface, and then pushes it there. She creates an angle of leverage. So now what round is it? I think this is round 10. So we're gonna bring it back to some, we're gonna do 2 rounds of like extreme, full speed, full power, fixed step push hands. Let's do it.
You want to start with the official way?
Yeah, sure. Well, let's wait for the bell.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. It's okay. Because you don't want to start the official way.
Sorry, I forgot.
So that's okay. Forget it. No official way. Let's go. Let's just play. Go.
I'm trying to avoid you starting on my wrist every time.
Okay, then let's go. There's that same idea again. Boom. So she just did a bear hug on me. I drop my hips back, I push my hand into her ribcage to create structure, and then let her deal with how she wants to move around it. Then I just feel around, and then as she moves, I soften myself and let her go. Pin, elbow, check this out. Ooh. So,
If we could like finish a little before you start.
oh no, you can keep playing. I'm like, yeah, keep playing, keep playing. I had the praying mantis posture on the elbow, putting that into her body, and then she pushed me really hard at the end, and then I pulled it across. And now here that elbow game comes into play. See it right there? Keep playing, keep playing. You can play at full speed while I'm talking.
It's so distracting.
I know, that's why you gotta zone in. You should be able to knock me over more easily because I'm talking. Don't stop because I'm talking. When I got quiet, that's because you turned up the volume. So feel free to turn up the volume. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to switch sides. Okay. And we won't wait for the bell, just go. So notice the tension in your shoulder. I put that tension there by creating a shape. That's the intention. Intention is to create tension in the opponent. Here's the shape of my right arm. It's a little ward off shape. So she just pulled me off to make my foot slide, which is great. It's great when you can get the point, and then you want to refine how you get there, or you can refine yourself and get the points. There are many roads that lead to the summit, so let's go. Hit my face with the forearm.
Let's go for the move that you taught me.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh my gosh. She just rich handed me right in the nuts directly.
You moved my hand there.
I definitely did not. But that was intense. And we're gonna keep playing. It's very intense though. Fortunately, I'm fasting right now, and everything feels different. I should be wearing my cup. She's right. Cup and mouthpiece when you do push hands, freestyle. I feel excellent. So if you guys just notice what she did William C. Chen's indirect tension posture. She just did it, hit me in the face by accident, totally fine. But she combined two different moves. My father does this actually very well. She combined the indirect tension, which is reaching and inflating the triceps for someone who's grabbing on the wrists that often causes tension in the opponent's shoulders. She did that while lifting through it. So she caused the tension in my shoulders and then lifted the arms up to kind of flip me off. Excellent, excellent move. Excellent way to end a 12-round, 2-minute round experience with Autumn. Autumn is consistently leveling up her game. Very, very proud of her. And she got some amazing, amazing moves on me today. So we're going to stretch it out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stretch with you guys today because it's so important to remember that if you don't stretch, you have not finished your workout. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Doesn't matter what you do. Forget about Tai Chi, anything. If you don't stretch, you've not finished your workout. So make sure that you take the moment, especially after Tai Chi. If you do Tai Chi, if you're fortunate enough to do it, inhale, just gain control of the breath and regain control of the breath. And I highly recommend, if you don't have a visualization to your breath embedded in the way that you do Tai Chi or Qigong, add it as soon as possible and put it at the foundation of all the things that you do. Draw that color into the belly, the breath. See it pulling in through the limbs, and exhale, wash it out. Or if you do the Grandmaster Chen style of breathing, we're not calling it reverse breathing anymore, but that inhalation on the pushing out, still see the color fill you up. And when you exhale, see it wash out. Whether you're pumping it or you're filling and releasing. Like this is the pump, inhaling, exhale, I push out. So I'm pumping it in, pushing it out like a hose. Or I can be filling, inhaling, filling, exhale, softening out. Fill up, exhale, soften out. Either one, still visualize the color of the breath. Inhaling up, stretch over. Remember, you get 30% muscle increase when you stretch within 45 seconds to a minute after an exercise. 30% more muscle from the exercise. Really important stuff. I'm going to gentle bounce, very, very gentle, not a hard bounce, gentle, gentle. Some people are against bouncing for good reason. This is more of a Shaolin temple movement that I know. Gentle. My training with Xian Ming, still great training. And toes up. When I do this exercise, just so you guys know, my intention, coming forward a little bit, is to make my hips and my shoulders square. To have a line lifting my head and a line going through my heel with the majority of my weight on the heel, pushing through the knee, coming up. My toe, inhale deep, exhale, my other knee, bent knee, falls directly to the ground. My toe reaches up. Hips rotating, rolling, arching the back and switch sides. Exhale down to one leg. Inhale, draw the breath up the leg. Knee comes up, I grab my ankle, I pull it back. And then I readjust my posture. Imaginary strings lifting me up, as we know. Shoulders and hips become square. I keep my eye line forward onto an object. Inhale deep, exhale, drop the bent knee. And lift the toe. And that's a chain reaction. They don't happen at the same time. Knee drops first, opens the hip, and then the toe goes up. And then the distance between those two movements in the chain gets shorter and shorter and shorter, but it's still chain. A lot of times in movement in general, people try to do things at once. There's 2 things at once, 3 things at once. And when you coordinate the breath and the mind to almost be rolling one step at a time, in any particular direction. You can really start to chain together the intent behind every small movement. And then these big movements look really beautiful because you have all the chain reactions intentionally placed. And the body starts to learn that. And it's beautiful and it feels great. That's wonderful. And I want to share with you guys one thing that I probably should make it its own video. I'm going to share with you Grandmaster William C. Chen's a piece of his writing. Give me one moment, like 10 seconds or less, I'll come right back with it. All right. So this stood out to me today. This stood out to me. So I read this morning. He gave this to me last year. And, you know, I have my own opinions on, through my experience in Tai Chi, Grandmaster William C. Chen and my Sifu Kiftong, Wusao Sifu, two very different schools of thought, two very different sets of experience, both incredibly high level, and I consider them incredibly complementary. The way where one might say the other is wrong, both are incredibly valuable. And I'm not saying that they say each other wrong. I'm saying that they're very, very different approaches to Tai Chi. And so therefore, when I read a paper like this, I have to weigh my perspectives, my learnings across my martial life. But this line stood out to me as undeniably true that I have to share with you. These unhurried and relaxed movements help to regulate the nervous system, lubricate the joints, and eliminate stiff muscle contractions. They facilitate full cooperation with brain function, circumventing physical interference from the muscles. This enables our fingers and toes to reach the highest level in the work of art to the martial artist, just as it has enabled me, Grandmaster William C. Chen, to maintain the speed of my punches measured at 5 meters per second in August of 2018 by means of video calculation. So just connecting this concept of the minimized muscle tension, the minimized interference with the muscles, so important. And that is another reason why it's so important for us to stretch. You have to do these stretches. I'm gonna fold my arms and hang. Gotta do these stretches. Inhale deep, exhale, soften, soften, soften. Even if you just do this, if you don't do any yoga or anything like that, that's not ideal, but that's okay, as long as you give yourself the depth of feeling. Soften, inhale deep, especially when the muscles are warm. Exhale, head falls, shoulders. Lift that tailbone to the hips to the ceiling or the sky. And exhale, the collarbone falls to the ground, and then shift the weight to one side and put your hands down toward that foot. Do your best to keep the weight on the heels and the knees straight. Inhale, deep. Exhale, and shift to the left side. Inhale, deep. Exhale. Hold the arms and hang. Inhale, deep. Exhale. Turn the feet out and put the forearms on the thighs. Weight is still on my heels. Minimal on the ball of the big toe, mostly on the heels, anchored. And I reach. So I have this posture and then I reach with the fingers so I can open up gently in here, inside, stretching the muscles. Open up my chest, collarbone, inhale deep, exhale, drop the butt. Inhale, come up, and fold the arms and hang again. Inhale deep. Inhale deep. And put one hand on one side and reach up to the ceiling of the sky. Exhale. Put the back of the fingers on the top of the foot and reach around to the other side. Inhale up. And exhale. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. If you want to make this more graceful, feel free to. Exhaling, reaching down, 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 down. Inhale, energize the fingers up. So notice I have to call myself out on this as well. disconnected movement versus connected movement. The way I was doing this stretch is disconnected. Most people, when they stretch, are disconnected. You can see it by how they're moving, how they're coordinating, as Grandmaster Chen would articulate the connection of the brain to the fingertips intentionally. I would categorize it with visualization, coordinating the visualization of the breath, the fingers, the mind, and you can see it. So really exhale, deepening the reach. Inhale, connect that breath to the fingertips and reach up. Exhaling down, scooping, leading with the fingers to the other side. Release the other foot. Come up to a nice prepared guard position. Connected, inhale. Use one to catalyze the other. One connection catalyzes the breath. And a reach, exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And I'll do one more, just sitting on the ground. And notice a little S position. Look at that. 3 camera angle for this. I'm going to just drop my shoulders over my chin, my femur, keeping my shoulders, attempting to keep them parallel to the knee to the heel. Notice that I'm flexing the foot up to help protect the knee and stretching. I'm putting my forearm around the bottom of my foot. And inhale, deep, exhale. Try to drop my forehead to the ground. Exhale. Inhale, I'm going to come up and switch to the other side. And again, I'm doing this switching in a disconnected way. The more connected you are, the more graceful it really looks. And but that simultaneously, when you're sparring, you can be very connected and still look very, very rough and that is just part of the game at times. So taking this forearm, I'm going to wrap it around the base of the foot, which I am flexing up. I'm going to take this forearm and just drop it on the ground, creating this shape to drop my forehead down. Doing the best to keep my shoulders and my femur parallel, distance between the knee and the heel parallel. Coming out of my hip, inhaling, lifting my body out of the hip, exhaling, dropping it toward the ground. Inhaling out. That was more of a connected movement. Exhaling. Close the eyes, inhale, wide legs and belly. Spread the whole body. Inhale up the front of the body. Exhale, roll down the back. Inhale up the left side. Exhale, roll down the right. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, push the color into the ground and come back up and around like a fountain in reverse. All around you. Inhale to the belly. White light. Exhale, push it to the top of the head like a fountain and spread in all directions around. Again, big bubble, white light. Gratitude for the body. Space that you're in. Good people in your life. Thank you guys. As usual, it's Coach Jan, and subscribe, like, comment, ask any questions. Always happy to answer and to make more videos. And if you want to help make more videos on a particular subject, please subscribe to my Patreon at Jan's Tai Chi. That's patreon.com/Jan's Tai Chi. And I have a significant amount of videos like already uploaded to YouTube that I have not pressed release on. I have to schedule them out. So I will be doing some of that maybe tonight, but a lot more is coming. And I have a hard drive full of some significant videos too. On top of the stuff that I'm making more specifically for my TikTok that I do also post on YouTube. Because the language of TikTok is a bit faster. And so doing both. And I love you guys. And I hope you have an amazing holiday. I'll probably be back on this next week. And everyone's always welcome to join on these Zoom sessions before they get posted. So I love you guys. And I will see you soon.